This math summary is focused on multiplication strategies, the break-apart model and area model. We're going to look at two models, two multiplication strategy models, and they're actually using the same idea, but they're presented differently. You can practice each of them, or you can prefer one and use it instead of the other one. They're both achieving the same answer, but they're just a different strategy. One's called the break-apart model, and just like the name suggests, we break apart our number, the two-digit number that we have in a question. We break it into tens and ones because 32 is 3 tens and 2 little ones. We write it as 30 and 2 in its broken two separate forms. But we multiply by 4 for each. So we have 30 times 4 and we have 2 times 4. Well, now what we need to do is calculate each number sentence individually. 30 times 4, well, if I know 3 4s are 12, I can do 30 times 4, it'll be 10 times bigger at 120. And 2 times 4 is 8. Then I need to regroup and add those two numbers together, and that's how I get 128. Well, on the other side of the board is the area model. It's a visual strategy where we have two boxes or two squares next to each other. The reason there's two is because this is a two-digit number. We need to break 32 and put 30 on the top of this square and 2 on the top of the other square. And the number we're multiplying by, times 4, that goes on the side. Now, just like when we're calculating the area of a shape where we do one side times the other side, we're doing that with the area model. We're doing 30 is times 4 and we get 120. Then we move to 2 times 4 and we get 8. Then we need to add those two numbers together to make our answer 128, which is exactly the same as our break-apart model answer. Let's look at another question. 54 times 3. Well, we need to break apart 54 into 50 and 4. And we've got 50 and 4 here. We multiply both of them by 3. 50 times 3 and 4 times 3. And we solve them individually. Well, 5 3s are 15, so 50 times 3 is 150. And 4 times 3 is 12. And when I add them together, I get 162.
It's pretty amazing what 5 minutes can do, right? And this is just one concept. There are over 200 more just like it on the My5 website. The link's below. Now let's finish this lesson.
On the other side in the area model, I've got the same question. It's a two-digit number, so I've got two squares or two boxes. I break my 50 and my 4, and that's where I put them on the top with the times 3 on the side. So now I'm doing 50 times 3 is 150 and 4 times 3 is 12. I add them together and that's how I get 162, but it's the same answer. So there's two different strategies. The break-apart model where I break my numbers apart and write out number sentences, or the visual model of the area model where I'm actually breaking my number apart still, but I'm just presenting it and using my working out space differently. Let's look at some other examples where we can multiply quite large numbers. They're much bigger than our times table number sentences, and we can use either strategy. For example, here's the 68 times 5, quite large question. If I break 68 into 60 and 8 and then multiply them both by the number I've got here, times 5, then I can do them individually. I can say 6 times 5 is 30, so 60 times 5 is 300. And 8 times 5 is 40. Now I build my number back together to get my answer, and I put 340 together and get 340. On the other side, we're going to do the same question with the area model. There's my 60 and my 8 broken into 2 and times 5 on the side. Well, 60 times 5 is 300, 8 times 5 is 40, and when I add them together, 340, the same answer. If I had 27 times 4, I could look at that two-digit number and break it into 20 and 7. I'm multiplying both by 4 and then I work them out individually. 20 times 4 is 80 And 7 times 4 is 28. And when I add them together, I get 108. But visually in the area model, I break my 27 into 20 and 7 on the top and times 4 on the side. And like area of a shape, I do one side times the other side. So 20 is multiplying by 4 to get 80, and 7 is multiplying by 4 to get 28. When I add them together, I get 108. So it's interesting that there's two different models that we can use. They're going to give us the same answer. We're breaking apart our numbers, looking at place value of tens and ones. They're two great strategies to help us multiply.